All right, guys, welcome back to Jared at 3C's Recreation, and today we're going to change the oil on a CFMoto UForce 600. It's been a really good machine for a long time, but we have none of content on this yet, so we want to show you guys a full oil change on it. So really simple, right to the point, no extra fluff. So on these oil change kits, we like to have the owner's manual handy. It's really descriptive. You can follow right along with this if you want to. Second of all, we can offer you guys oil change kits. CFMoto came out with these about 2 years ago, so if you want everything in one box, you're going to get 3 quarts of oil, an oil filter, the new gasket for the housing, and the new crush washers. So really cool kit, and the part number should be right there. You guys can it's the CF number on the side there. This works with almost everything except those new U10s in the background. Here at the shop though, we don't need the kit. We have just the filters in stock and we have drum oil. So we're not going to use the kit. We're not going to bust one of those open. Side note is, if you guys want to buy a kit, there's an Amazon link down below. We do make a small commission on it. That's my only sales pitch in the whole video. You can buy it right off of there. The tools that we use. So obviously a drain pan. We got a funnel. We like this funnel because we can measure out the oil, turn the dial, and it'll let the oil flow out. So we like that. And other than that, the tools are simple. We have a 17 millimeter. This one's on a breaker bar because this machine only has 120 miles on it. The oil's never been changed. And so the first time, man, it really seems like you need a little more strength to get it apart. Once we've broken it loose, we're going to switch to a regular ratchet. And then we have a torque wrench to reinstall the drain bolt. I think it's 25 Newton meters on this one. And the last thing is to get into the filter housing, we just have a regular 8 millimeter. So that's all we have for tools. Let's jump right into this. So the first thing we're going to do is check the oil level. So I'm going to stand on this side because it's easier to film over here. Chris is going to come in now, and to check the oil, your dipstick's under the passenger seat. So there's 2 rubber grommets. You go straight up with it, and you can see the grommets poke into these little tabs here, and then the seat was rocking on these 2 little clips right here. So seat came right off. Now we have this storage bin. Look how clean this thing is. This is a 2022. It's used. Look how clean it is. So Chris picked straight up on the storage bin. It went out. Now, sometimes those are not that easy. He made that look way too easy, but I wanted to show it. And now that you can see down in here, we have a dipstick right here, right there. That's our dipstick that we're aiming for. So I'm going to grab a flashlight and we'll show you that real quick. All right, so Chris is going to reach down in there. We're going to pull that dipstick out, and we're going to check the oil. Now, keep in mind, we're on a flat surface. The vehicle's in park. It was running earlier. We just brought it inside to do this, and we let it sit for quite a while. And so I guess we need to wipe it first, obviously, and get all the oil off of there. Now, on this model, we do not screw it back in. He's just going to set the oil. He just pushed it in, didn't screw it in, and now this is how we check it. If you come a little bit closer, maybe I'll take some of the light away. You can see where we at, Chris. We're pretty much all the way at the top there, aren't we? Oh, this one's pretty full. So this one's overfilled. So we don't know why, because the guy's never done the oil change on it, but it's way up there above the, I don't know what you want to call it, little lines there. So got too much oil in it, but we're going to change it right now. So I had to get rid of the gimbal for a second because it won't fit under here. So I'm going to open the dump box. Now that we've checked the oil, we can actually change it. So we're going to go underneath of this thing here. And I wanted to show you me crawling under it, so you knew exactly where I was looking. And all the way up under here, that's our drain bolt right there. It's a 17 millimeter right in the middle. So we'll go ahead and crack that right now and get it draining. So I went ahead and switched sides because Chris is a little bit easier to lay on that side. Now he's got the breaker bar, and yeah, I already broke loose. Oh, I was going to show you how much of a struggle that was, but Chris, was that an easy one compared to normal?
Yep.
Because normally that bolt is way harder to get out than that. So we would recommend the breaker bar, but this one didn't need it. That oil is pretty clean because it's only got 125 miles on this machine. The whole thing is like new, but it is 3 years old now, so it is time to do an oil change. We're going to let this drain. So we just wanted to show you guys what these usually look like. There's usually more on it than that. We have not wiped it yet. It's incredible. This is magnetic, by the way. That's what we're trying to show. Sometimes there's gunk and stuff stuck to this. That is not the case today. That is incredibly clean. Also, in these kits, you get those crush washers. And so you know, in these kits, there's 2 crush washers included, because on different models, there's different thicknesses of crush washers. So we always put new ones on here at the shop. This one is just this size of copper on a U600. Again, if you have a second one, you could just throw it in the toolbox to keep it in case you ever buy the other model. So one thing while we're waiting for the oil to drain, and we don't really need to do this, but we thought we would show it, we can increase the angle of this dump bed by pulling the pin on the cylinder. Now, if you guys have the accessory rear bumper, it would already be pretty close here. And by tipping this or pulling that pin, it wouldn't really help you guys out any because then the bumper would be directly on the tire. But we have a little more room with this model. So what Chris is gonna do, he's gonna reach in there and that cotter pin right there, pull it with that pair of pliers, pull it out, and then as long as this thing wants to work with us, sweet. And then now look at that extra angle. So in a minute, when we go to change the oil filter on the other side, that's really gonna help out most people getting in here to work on this thing. So Chris is just gonna kind of reach up here real quick, clean the surface off, make sure it's perfectly clean. And then we'll reinsert the new drain bolt, or the old drain bolt, but with a new crush washer on it. According to the CFMoto manual, they want this to be 25 Newton meters. So owner's manual on the oil change page, 25 Newton meters for that drain bolt right there. So now that the oil is drained, we emptied the drain pan on the floor there. And now our oil filter housing is right there. You can see those 3 bolts on that housing down there. So that's what we're gonna get to. Those are the 8 millimeters that come into play here. And what we like to do is we take this piece of oil absorbent rag and we're gonna set this on the frame. That way it dribbles down and it catches that hole nicely there. So we're gonna put this in. So I'm gonna go ahead and film from the front here. That gives Chris a little more room to work back there. So you can see he just got the rag that's gonna deflect the oil down into the pan. And it's simply just those 3 8 millimeters. They're gonna pull that out. So now we can go ahead and pull the cartridge out, and you can see it only goes in one way. If you turn the bottom of it toward me, Chris, so we can see it there. Yeah, that's the part that goes in. That's awesome. Good lighting too. So that's how the new one's gonna go right back in. So this is the part number, in case you guys didn't want the full oil kit, that part number there, the 0800, that long part number, that's the part number for the new oil filter. While Chris is prepping that oil filter, this is what the housing looked like. It was just that simple O-ring, and again, if you buy the oil change kit, it's gonna come with that new O-ring on there. We always wipe this out just to get any kind of old oil out of there so it doesn't dirty the new oil quite as fast. This is what sandwiches it into the motor there. So now Chris is just going to go ahead and put those 3 bolts back in and torque those. I think it's just under 8 foot-pounds on those. So these we just usually tighten to feel. You do not want to torque those very tight. It's just a small 8 millimeter bolt. And again, it's just to hold the oil filter housing. There's not a lot of pressure or movement behind those bolts. All right, drain bolts back in and torqued. Those bolts are back in the oil filter housing. Now the last thing is for us to add oil to this vehicle. It calls for 2.54 quarts. What's cool with the UForce 600 is the oil fill is simply right on top of the valve cover right here. So super big. Actually, this thread's long as heck. Huge opening. We got our funnel. We can put the oil right back in here first, and so we'll do that next. Wow, look at that. Not even a funnel needed on this model. That's pretty awesome. So if you guys are using the CFMoto oil in the quarts, super easy. No funnel needed. Pretty awesome of CFMoto to do that. So he's going to go ahead. He's going to finish adding the 2.54 quarts. And we'll come back here at the end, we'll run it again, and then we'll show you guys where it is on the oil dipstick. Not a super long thread, but definitely has threads to it. Wipe it off, we'll reinsert it. And again, we're not going to screw it in. Again, we just ran this vehicle too, just so you guys know. So be careful, the motor could be hot. And 2.6 quarts puts us at, come right up here, Chris, right up to the camera. Let's see. Oh, it's perfect. Literally perfect. So 2.6, right to the top of those little notches, exactly where they want it. So that worked out really good. All right, guys, thanks for watching. That was an oil change on a CFMoto UForce 600. Again, the links in the description below help you guys make those purchases if you need the tools or the oil to do it at home. We're also going to do, in a second, I'm going to do a walk around maintenance video on this thing, like a really quick. So check out our channel. I'm going to show you where the front diffs, rear diffs, air filter, all that stuff, separate video. So check that one out as well. Thanks for watching. Enjoy the ride.